Hello there. I'm back. I had to leave my home to come back to a place that I live. If that makes any sense. I consider Walt Disney World to be my home. But I live here in Merkel, Indiana, where it's a common occurrence to see turkeys in your backyard? Weird. Not for me, and people that live around me. Not for Allie either. There she is. Right, Alley Cat? Exactly. Normal for her. Normal for us. She does not know what to think of really anything that's going on right now. Like I said, I just returned from my 13th trip to a place I call home, Walt Disney World. I've made several vlogs, several one-take vlogs. I'm going to upload those after this. This is going to be my merchandise haul and just me talking about some of the trip. Not too much. I don't want to make you guys sit through a lot. You probably don't care that much. But if you do, I'm going to tell you some of my thoughts, some of my experiences, fun stuff. I'll start with my merchandise. Here's my haul. I consider the maps to be merchandise. I collect them. I probably have, rough guess is probably 30 to 35 maps I've collected over the past 20 years. Of course, some of them from the same parks from the same year, but they change slightly, but I just collect them because they're fun, free pieces of souvenirs and somewhat trivia, and they are like a snapshot of the parks in that time. Of course, got a Mickey straw that also came with a drink, so I didn't have to really pay for that. I paid for the drink. And then had to try to snag a comic. I wanted some Vader comics, but they were clean out, so I settled with a Rogue One. It has one of my favorite Star Wars characters on the cover, which is actually Director Krennic. Of course, I had to snag a Ellen's Universe of Energy shirt, marking the extinction date of that attraction, because I was there on its final day of operation, of use. I'm a big pin collector, so I had to get a Figment pin because I'm a big fan of his, and I don't have any Figment pins. I was shocked, so I had to get one. Same with Donald, huge Donald fan, and I had to get a Donald pin because I had none up to this point. And of course, I had my first trip ever to Pandora, so I had to get a pin commemorating that. Speaking of ride closures, no shirts were left from the Great Movie Ride, but I did snag this pretty sweet drink cup, which also marks the closing year, and it's just a commemorative cup. I had to get some monorail socks. Who doesn't like a good pair of monorail socks, right? I don't know, probably a lot of people, but I like them. And of course, I went to Trader Sam's, as you'll see a little later, and I got the coolest drink cup I've ever seen. It's commemorating, I'm having trouble with that word, commemorating the old attraction that used to be in Walt Disney World in the Magic Kingdom, and is slightly still in the Disneyland. It's the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea attraction. That is called the Nautilus, the ship that's from both the original movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the two attractions. And at Disney Springs, I always go out of my way to get some Legos. I mean, who doesn't? We're all kids inside, especially if you're at Disney. Gotta get some Legos. So, that's my merch haul. Oh, and one more, of course. The Walt Disney World 2-disc CD set, which, I don't know if you can hear it, I'm actually listening to it right now as I go through this video. But it's got most of the music from the parks. Like, I'm gonna be bumping that in my car on repeat, no joke. So yeah, that's the merch haul I've got, and happy to be back to, it's a home. I mean, obviously, I live here, so it's my home, but sad to leave one home, happy to be in another home. But might as well tell you guys a little bit about what's in the trip. I won't give too much away, because if you want, you could end up watching my vlogs that me and one of my good friends, Jimmy, tried to keep a track of, a video log of what we were doing that day and what we did in the parks. But I won't keep it too long, like I said. I had a lot of new experiences, which is shocking for me, being there 13 times, like I've said. I got to do Tower of Terror for the second time ever, but this time it was in the daytime, not at night, like my first time, back in December of this year, actually. I'm scared of heights, terrified of heights, but the first time I did it in the dark, I couldn't see anything. I didn't know where it was. If I was up, if I was down, I was freaking out. But during the daytime, you can see things, you have your bearings about you, so I actually enjoyed myself. I may have looked scared, and I may have acted a little scared, but I did enjoy myself. What else? I mean, went to Animal Kingdom for the first time since 2005, which is the biggest gap I've ever had going to a theme park. Like, it was rough, but I'm glad I had that wait, because at that time, Expedition Everest was not even built. It was barely even started construction. Obviously no Pandora, no Avatar way back then, but I got to experience Expedition Everest for the first time, and the 2 attractions in Pandora for the first time. I enjoyed both of them, well, and Everest, I love Everest. I enjoyed both of the Pandora attractions, but I was slightly, not disappointed, but slightly underwhelmed with Flight of Passage. To me, it was almost identical to Soarin'. Like, I get the video is obviously different, and the ride vehicle itself does move a little more, and you do have 3D glasses, but I don't know, I enjoyed it, I had fun. I'll definitely do it again at some point, but it just wasn't in the category of my favorite ride or my top favorite attractions in Walt Disney World, which I have heard some people say. That's their own opinion. People have opinions, I respect that. My opinion was, it might be top 15, maybe. I'd have to think about it. But my top 3 like fluctuate every day. I told Jimmy that. I don't know if it's in a video, but I told Jimmy that. I was like, I dance back and forth between Pirates, Space Mountain, and Rock and Roller Coaster. Those are my 3 faves. But it depends on the day. One day I might say Pirates is the best. The next day I might say Space. Next day I might say Rock and Roller Coaster. You never know. But Avatar and the Flight of Passage, not up there, but it's in my top 15. But on the opposite note, previously to my journey and my Navi River journey, mind you, I had heard a lot of people say that it was underwhelming. It was a little disappointing, but I went in and I was thoroughly impressed, and I thought it was better than most people said. The Navi Shaman animatronic at the end is massive. I did not realize it would be that big. Like, I know in the movie Avatar, like, it's like 8 or 9 feet tall, something like that. I don't know. So I knew they were big, but seeing it in person, I was like, it's really this big. Like, I was caught off guard, and its range of motion was so fluid and so lifelike. Like, it looked real, it sounded real. I don't know if they have their eye recognition technology in there yet, but it seemed as if she was looking at everyone individually in the boat. I know Disney has patents on that technology, and I know they have that capability, but I don't know if they put it in yet. But if they did, it was definitely in that attraction, because she seemed like she was making eye contact with passengers. But I tried to film some of the land itself at night, but it doesn't translate to my camera very well. It was a breathtaking and gorgeous land to be in, both daytime and nighttime. I've got some footage and pictures from the daytime, which do come out really well, and it is really a beautiful place, but nighttime doesn't translate to my camera, so I got to see it for myself, but not on camera. But it's not as big as I thought, acreage-wise, because a lot of it is taken up by the show buildings. But the mountain itself, the floating mountain, is much bigger than I thought. I never seen it in person before, but it was towering. Same with Expedition Everest. Like, when I was there last in 2005, the landscape of Animal Kingdom was just trees. You couldn't see anything but trees. But this time, pulling up in the bus, I saw towering Everest peaks, and I saw towering floating mountain peaks. I was like, this is a completely different place. So that was impressive. And I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed those new experiences. Animal Kingdom's it's a sleeper pick. It's slowly climbing up the list. It used to be my least favorite, but until Hollywood Studios and Epcot complete their changes that they're constantly making, who knows when that'll stop. Animal Kingdom might be second favorite park. Magic Kingdom will always be my first. I don't care what happens. Always. But Animal Kingdom, creeping up. Dark horse. Definitely a dark horse. But speaking of Epcot, the Universe of Energy closing, I mean, it doesn't bother me a whole lot. I love that attraction, but it does need at least an update. But the Guardians of the Galaxy change, I'm partially okay with. I love that franchise. The first movie I was a little iffy on, but upon rewatching it, I've really enjoyed it. And the second movie, I loved. It was hilarious. Like, it's one of my favorite Marvel movies now. So I love Guardians, but I'm just not sure going forward if Disney, well, not if, they will get it. When Disney gets the theme park rights to Marvel, are they going to put the rest of Marvel in Epcot behind the Universe of Energy, well, Guardians of the Galaxy attraction? That's their plan for Disney's California adventure, I know that. But will that be the thing in Epcot? Will we see Spider-Man in Epcot? Like, I don't know. I try not to doubt Disney, and they rarely ever let anybody down. I mean, I wasn't happy with the Timekeeper to Monsters Inc. laugh floor that happened a few years ago, but they can't get them all right. No one's perfect. So I usually hold off judgment on any of their decisions. They rarely let anybody down, especially like after seeing Mission Breakout in California. Everybody freaked out. No, don't tear down the tower. Don't change a tower. Well, they didn't tear it down. They changed it, but it is a great ride. Guardians is a great franchise. Like, that was a good change. So, like I said, I try to hold off any judgment until I see it, at least on video, but preferably in person. I have not been out to Disneyland or DCA, but I will one day. But I've been to Disney World many times, and I usually don't judge. I try not to judge any attraction until I've seen it for myself, preferably multiple times. So I can't pass too much judgment on Avatar or Expedition Everest until I make it back within the next couple years and give them a second and third viewing. But aside from that, those were great factors and fun factors into the trip. But another thing that I really love about Disney is cast member interaction. Like, I was wearing my big pin lanyard with all my pins. I had probably 4, maybe 5, I'm not sure. At least 4 cast members spark up conversations about my pins and compliment pins. And that's just always nice. I mean, it's a little fun interaction. And along the lines of pin trading, I had the most adorable interaction trading a pin I've ever had. The tiniest little girl came up to me waiting in line for Astro Orbiter, and her mom was with her, and her mom was like, "Excuse me, she saw you from across Tomorrowland and saw your lanyard, and she just really wants to trade pins with you. She really wants to trade." And I looked down at what she had, and I mean, nothing of my interest, but at the same time, I was like, this is what Disney's about. Like, you have to take advantage of that situation. Like, this cutest little girl, she might have been 6 or 7, she was so tiny, but she offered me a little Mulan pin, and like I said, it was of no interest to me, but I had like not a throwaway pin, but a pin I was ready to part ways with, and I was like, this is the chance. So I mean, I made her day. I'll probably save that Mulan pin, put it on a secondary lanyard or something, because my lanyard is packed. It's just too packed, especially with the 3 new pins I just bought. But I know it made her day. She was laughing and grinning as she left us, checking out the little. I gave her a Mickey pin with like a astronaut Mickey with Saturn behind him. Like, she loved it. So I'm glad it made her day, and it made me feel a little bit better. I mean, obviously I wasn't feeling down, but it just made me say, this is what Disney's about. This is really what it's for. Making kids or adults, just making people feel better. Especially in Tomorrowland with the promises of tomorrow. Like, that's what that's about. So, just those little interactions that really made my day and made my trip. It was great. And I got to see Jimmy speak some German, which you guys will see 2 of the cast members in the Germany pavilion, which that was hysterical. And I never really noticed, but I knew there was, but I never noticed that there was an option on Spaceship Earth to listen to the audio in different languages. So I've heard it 20, 30 times, and I have it all memorized, like, no joke. Both the Jeremy Irons and the Judi Dench versions. So Jimmy was like, hey, can we play it in German? I was like, heck yeah. So I heard Spaceship Earth commentary in German. Like, it was actually a cool experience. They still had the Thank the Phoenicians line, which made my day. I was like, I understand that, because I know the most iconic may not be the best word, but line in Spaceship Earth. Thank the Phoenicians. Oh, but it was a great trip. I've rambled way too long. If you're still watching, cool. If not, I don't blame you. But also, if you're watching me and you haven't watched, I'll probably leave people off, and I apologize if I do. But if you haven't watched Justin Scarred, Tim Tracker, Adam the Woo, Fresh Baked Walt Disney World and Fresh Baked Disney, Ears to You, World of Micah. I know I'm probably forgetting people, and I apologize, but I watch countless YouTubers and YouTube vloggers. So if you're watching me before them, thank you, but please go check them out. Their content is much better than mine, and it's what's inspired me to do what I've done. So check them out. I'll post this long, rambling video, and after that, I'll start posting vlogs of the trip. So, until next time, I'll see you all a little later.